Hello, my name is Kuldip Randhawa. I am a professional engineer that was suspended in August 2005 following a fraudulent investigation by APEGBC in April 2005. I've released a video on that one to alert the people and the professional engineers to come forward and contact me. It's happened to me, it's probably happened to many other people in Canada where professionals are being targeted for their honesty and for other reasons. This video is focused about the Oliver subdivision, which was done by myself following a project in Oliver, BC, where I designed the Sikh Gurdwara on Highway 97. Two individuals were involved in this partnership with myself. That was Janelle Singh Gill and Damajit Singh Garewal. These individuals were brought into the project because of a considerable trust that I had in the Sikhs. Both of these Sikhs have turbans and they present themselves as being very connected with the religion and spoke very positive about the problems that took place within Sikhs in the past and in history. I had no reason to doubt their abilities. The abilities were not really needed, their skills were not needed. All I did is made them partners because one of the partners were living in Oliver, BC, so he was an asset in that sense. The other person who lived in Surrey and a distant relative contributed towards the project, and the project was going to be done in such a way that projects were going to be done further after that as well. So we purchased the lands in Oliver, BC in August 2004. It was secured by myself and I brought two partners into this partnership. The Sikh project was finished and a total success. The Sikhs in Oliver, BC are fully aware of my situation. They are aware of the other problems taking place in other matters, including a high-rise site where my brother Manjeet Singh Randhawa lives in the UK, was also encouraged to start a litigation. There's another video on that one. But how does the town of Oliver, which delayed the project and the processing to a certain point that I aggressively moved forward with the plans for a 37 lot subdivision. 37 lots included 33 single family lots and 4 multi-residential lots. In addition to this, we purchased a second property inside the town boundaries close to the hospital, which I also converted into a multiplex site where condo projects were going to be done. So now we have essentially 33 single family lots and potential 5 multi-residential lots that were secured in the year 2004. Most of the construction work was done. The design was done on a fast track basis. In April 2005, I had the investigation with the engineering body. And then in July of 2005, I decided, after I had proven my case for the engineering matter, I decided to go on a vacation where my mom, who lived in the UK, joined me, and unfortunately she passed away whilst on vacation. We took that vacation thinking that I had proven the engineering matter. Came back, my health was deteriorated, and so I gave the permission for the town's consultant, True Consultants, who are located in Kamloops, to finish some of the minor items that were remaining. The subdivision was passed and substantially complete July 2005. Minor things were left to such a point that single family lots were being sold soon after. The single family lots of 33 were supposed to take care of all of the expenses on the project, including my fees, because as it was my project, the deal was under a partnership agreement. I was going to take care of the design. Because of the grievance, my mother passing away, a small portion of that was given to True Consultants, where they were supposed to provide the as-built drawings. And then later, I was told that I was supposed to provide as-built drawings, which makes no sense. They were retained to finish off, to deal with one issue which was self-created as part of interference. In 2006 onwards, there were fills that were actually stored because the plan was to sell 33 single-family lots and retain the 5 multi-residential lots where we were going to do about 50 to 52 condo units. Once they were going to be constructed, they were going to have rental income that would have come to the partnership, and then we were going to move forward buying other properties. When fills were stored on lot number 37, considerable amount of fills was stolen by Mr. Janal Singh Gill. Because he was the local rep, I was under the impression that Damanjit Singh Garol, the other partner who is in Surrey, may not be aware of it. But he knew that the fills were there and they were stolen from the project. So that matter was reported to the RCMP for investigation. When you steal fills, that's a crime. Why did the RCMP in Oliver not investigate that? Is stealing not a crime? Is this something I have to tell you guys? It is also tax evasion, because when someone is stealing from the project, they're stealing from me. At that time, I believed Janal Singh Gill was going to steal from the other partner as well. So they actually eventually sued me, started a proceeding S126454. When they realized that they had no legal defense because the entire project was finished, I had not made any mistakes, the project was a success, that proceeding did not continue. I actually got orders from the court that Janal Singh Gill was going to collect the rent from the second property we bought, which had a rancher on it, so it had some rental income. Having sued me, the order was that Janal Singh Gill had to pay for the property taxes. So property taxes were going to be paid because of the litigation. He was supposed to provide a full account. He's represented by a lawyer. His name is Kanwar Heer, who is related to him. Kanwar Heer knows that there is no bona fide claim against me. So he goes before Master Keefley and deceives him, saying I did not provide a list of documents, which he had actually signed before going to the master, and lied to the master. And then after that, I managed to get a few other orders where the town of Oliver staff were required to provide evidence. And then they retained a lawyer, and that evidence was never submitted. The reason for that is pretty clear. Some of the staff at the town of Oliver were encouraging these guys, my former partners, to start the litigation. When the dispute arose, we actually settled it. A settlement agreement was made, in which my wife, Mrs. Randhawa Randhawa, is a witness to that agreement. So the dispute should not have continued in the courts. They should not have sued me. The proceeding S126454 is actually a vexatious proceeding that is commenced by lawyers who are profiting from this, earning fees, and actually as part of a scam involving the CRA. So the CRA then come into the picture where they do a CRA assessment, which is done in March 2010 by Caroline Walsh. How do they do the fraud? The assessment, they simply exclude all of the expenses. What are expenses? They're deductible. You build a house, you pay for concrete, the concrete is an expense. So you take that out. That doesn't come into the equation for the income or the profits. For this subdivision project, $3 million expenses were excluded. The sales on these 33 lots was 2.5 million-ish. So in other words, there was a loss. So what did CRA do? They come along and put fraudulent charges to prevent me from financing, prevent me from selling, whilst they encouraged the former partners to commence litigation. And then once they were told, CRA were repeatedly told, I went to the ombudsman under CRA, they did nothing. I wrote to the Prime Minister, he wrote back saying this matter will be dealt with the Minister of National Revenue, who is Miss Lindsay, a minister currently in the government, who was involved in this crime. She is part of an organization where some Sikhs are part of that organization, where they are promoting businesses in India. So they're connecting with Sikhs who are then going out to India to bring in business to this nation. Those same Sikhs are then given benefits and privileges to do crimes. And so the former partners retain an accountant. His name is Mr. Gurminder Parihar and Associates. He filed to CRA and excluded my name from the partnership. It was no longer a partnership of 3. It was a partnership of 2. And so the fraud has taken place with CRA involved, where they bind the properties. I can't sell them, I can't remortgage. I managed to get a mortgage through a person who was helping me for some time. His name is Raj Sekhon. So we got a partial mortgage. And then the latest proceeding, where my wife is now criminally entrapped by Zuckerman law, Ron Hunek, who is being criminally investigated, and he will be held accountable, where those properties were then sold within the family proceedings in 2019. They were sold through a tax sale, which should not have occurred because, as I said, Janelle Singh Gill was supposed to collect the rent from that second property we purchased and pay those. So the entire fraud has not been investigated, and it needs to be investigated. And so they were having a protest outside CRA buildings for 2 weeks in a row, starting from Monday. We've already had one last Monday. The second one is going to be in January the 4th. And we want to reach out to all other people who know about these kind of scams that are taking place, where the police have now been notified and they need to be investigated. If you are working in the CRA buildings and you're doing tax fraud by excluding expenses, you can go to the Department of Justice, you can have lawyers there, it doesn't matter. When you're doing the crime in Her Majesty's name, Her Majesty will hold you accountable because you've ruined her name.